Hello, time travelers, and happy Halloween. If you're new to this channel and enjoy learning about history, one event at a time, from around the world, don't forget to hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and turn on all notifications. Without further ado, let's get into it. According to tradition, Martin Luther, this day in 1517, posted on a church door in Wittenberg, Germany, his 595 Thesis, a manifesto that turned a protest about an indulgent scandal in Protestant reform. 1632 is when Dutch painter Johan Vermeer, whose paintings are among most beloved and revered images in history of art, was baptized. 1860 is when Julia Gordon Low, founder of the Girl Scouts of the United States of America, was born in Savannah, Georgia. I honestly forgot that she was born on Halloween. But then again, I was a Girl Scout in high school, and I graduated in 2010. Anyway, 4 years later, in 1964, Nevada became the 36th state of the United States. 1887 is when soldier and statesman Charles K. Sketch, headed of the nationalist government in China from 1928 to 1949, and subsequently head of Chinese nationalist government in exile in Taiwan, was born. 1922 is when Benito Mussolini became Prime Minister of Italy. He was the first Europe's fascist dictator in the 20th century. Now, 4 years later, in 1926, Harry Houdini, the magician and escape artist, died of paresthesis stemming from a stomach injury. Guess even the great Houdini couldn't escape death. No pun intended. 1939 is when 6 Italian cabinet ministers, chiefs of army and air force, and party secretary Arcangelo Stone, removed from office by Mussolini. Ethel Malti became new party secretary, and Marshal Randolph Garzani, chief of staff of the army. In 1941, after nearly 14 years of work, the Mount Rushmore National Memorial in the Black Hills of South Dakota was completed. The colossal sculpture features the heads of President George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln. That is actually one place that I really want to go before I, as they say, kick the bucket. But that trip's going to be expensive. Anyway, 1962 is when American psychological thriller Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, a late career triumph of both Bette Davis and John Crawford was released in American theaters. On this day in 1968, U.S. President Lyndon B. Johnson ordered an end to American bombing in North Vietnam. 9 years later, in 1977, an African-sponsored resolution calling for severe economic sanctions against South Africa was voted in the UN Secretary Council by Britain, France, and the US, Canada, and the US. Canada and West Germany also voted against the measure. The other 10 members voted for sanctions. There was also, however, unanimous agreement in condemning South Africa for recent massive violence and repression directed against the country's blacks. 8 years after the turn of the century, in 2008, American author and oral historian Studs Terkel, who chronicled lives of Americans from the Great Depression to the early 21st century, died in Chicago. 2020 is when Scottish-born actor Sean Connery, who was perhaps best known for portraying super spy James Bond in a series of films, died at the age of 90. Today, although Halloween celebrated this day is now observed largely as a secular holiday, it is, as the eve of All Saints' Day, also a religious holiday among some Christians. And with that, we will return to 2024 and our current history. Now, let's head into the animal kingdom. When cocoa birds hide their eggs in the nest of other species, the other bird species then raise the cocoa birds or cocoa chicks as if it was its own, and the cuckoo mother doesn't have to do any of the work. Talk about being lazy. Anyway, let's head into the science lab, where people who eat whatever they want and stay slim have slow metabolism, not fast. A skinny person tends to have less muscle mass than others, meaning their basal metabolism rate, or BMR, is lower than those of high muscle mass. This gives them a slow metabolism, not a fast one. And with that, I hope your night is not so spooky. And as always, if you enjoy learning historical events from around the world, don't forget to hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and turn on all notifications. I'll see you all in the next one.